Okay guys, and welcome back to another Scrappin' Irish video. And what have I got in store for this video? Well, for this video it's another demonstration video, another explanation video of some of the stuff that I use when I'm doing chemicals, what chemicals I use, and what process I use for gold. And in this one it's Aqua Regia, which is probably one of the most common ways of dissolving your gold material into a liquid form, and then you can afterwards drop the gold out of it using SMB. So what will I be using to make Aqua Regia? So well, first off, I usually have my container. So in this one it's a 1,000 ml container, flat bottomed on this one. I will be using some nitric acid, and I will be using hydrochloric acid. So usually the formula for hydrochloric and for Aqua Regia, or AR as it's also known, is 3:1. So 3 parts hydrochloric acid to 1 part nitric acid. So that's 3 parts hydrochloric acid to 1 part nitric. But what I find is I'll put in enough, usually just enough hydrochloric acid to cover the material, and then I'll drop in a couple of mils of nitric acid at different intervals and let it work away. And that's what I do, and that's the way I do it. I don't put in, if I put in 100 mils of, or I would say 150 mils of hydrochloric acid, I don't straight away put in 50 mils of nitric acid, because I might need 50 mils of nitric acid to dissolve the material that I'll be doing. So what will I be dissolving in the nitric acid, or in the sorry, let me get this right, in the Aqua Regia, in the AR, I'll be dissolving these old filters from, these are from where I filtered out, I don't know, have you seen the videos yet, or they mightn't be up there yet, where I filtered out from the e-waste that I bought off eBay. So again, I hold on to all the filters. I have to get every last bit of gold that I can get out of it. So as you'll see here, you can see here some very, very fine gold on these filters. So what I'll be doing is just ripping them out. So all I do is I just fold the centers like that, and I just rip them there, so that all I'm left with here is the gold that's left there. So I'm going to do that with all these little filters that I have here, and once I've that done, we'll come back, because you don't need to see me doing all that. So just to speed up the video a bit, we'll do that. Okay, so now I have the jar with the filters, and as you can see, just this type of filters again, just to give you an idea. You can see the gold there on it, some gold bearing materials that have got stuck in the filter, and the only way of getting them out is put them into Aqua Regia to dissolve them. So that's what I'm going to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the shed, going to get my mask on, and we're going to do these. So gloves, mask. Again, I'll be dealing with nitric acid, so I'll change the gloves to the more appropriate gloves for nitric acid, and we'll go to the shed and get this going. So probably when you come back, I'll have already added the hydrochloric acid, just to have it in there. So all I'm going to be doing is putting the hydrochloric acid in, and then we'll start adding some nitric acid then afterwards, and let it work away. Small bit of heat, not an awful lot of heat, but just a little bit to get it going, and we'll work away with that. I'll have a stirring rod, we'll stir it around a bit, stuff like that. So let's go to the shed and do that bit. Okay guys, so now I am out in the shed again. I have the heat going here, but I haven't put it over on top of the heat yet. This is just my hydrochloric acid. So I'm just going to add the hydrochloric acid. And you can see the reason it's gone that color already is it's already the copper that would have been in the solution there already. It's attacking it, or in the filter, so it's attacking that copper, and it'll start to eat at that copper. So that's why it's gone that color already. And we're just going to put it over there on the heat. We'll turn the camera so you can see. So I'm just going to turn that onto the heat. I'm going to leave that for few minutes and we'll come back to it once we get a little bit of heat into it. I just want to warm the solution up a bit. I don't want it really boiling. I just want to warm it. And once I get the temperature up a bit, I'm going to start adding my the nitric acid to the solution. So again, I just have some nitric in here, and I'm just going to use a dropper, and we're just going to drop in a few milliliters, and then I'll put something over the top to just act as a wash glass. It's a little plate or something like that, because I don't have a wash glass, so I'm going to just have to use a little plate. And that then will hopefully we can let this carry on working and let it start to dissolve anything that is in there. So we can try and focus in a bit, so you might be able to see some bubbles. So I'm going to pause it there, and we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll be ready to go once that has got a little bit of heat to it. And just feel if there's any heat yet. It's not really getting hot yet. Make sure this is heating up under it. Yeah, it is. It's warming up. So that should hopefully start to get a little bit of heat into it in the next 2 minutes or so, and then I'll be back. So I'll just stop it there, and we'll come back once that's warmed up. Okay, the solution is beginning to warm up there, so I can feel the heat coming out of the solution. So now I'm going to just put in some nitric acid. Now I didn't bother changing the gloves because I'm not really handling the nitric acid. I'm just using it in a what's called, I'm just sucking it up into from this container into here. So it's just a matter of, again, as I said, I've used a dropper, because you have to be careful with nitric acid on the type of gloves and stuff like that. So these nitrile gloves are not the ideal thing to be using with nitric acid. Should really be using the heavier rubber gloves like these ones, but because I'm not actually handling the nitric acid, I'm just handling the tube that's holding it, I'm not too concerned. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drop, I think that is a total of, let me see how many milliliters we have in there. We have a total of just under 2. So I'm just going to drop in 2 milliliters of nitric acid into that solution, and I'm just going to let that work away. So what I'm going to do is just give it a quick stir, and because I don't want to have put in too much nitric, because then you have the problem of denoxing it is your issue then. So if you can use as little as you can and get away with it, then all the better. It means less denoxing at the end. And again, how I like to denox stuff now is use a little bit of gold to dissolve into it. So again, at the end of this, I'll put a little bit of gold in. It won't be much. It'll just be to make sure that all the free nitric is used up, and that way then we'll get our little bit of gold out of it. It'll only be a small bit, but every little counts, as I say. So I'll just leave that there. I'll put that, stirred it up. I'm going to let that run and put a wash dish over the top, so that anything that will wash down back into the jar. I'm just using a little plate, that's it. That's all I have. I don't have a proper wash glass, but hopefully this should work away okay for me. And I'm going to let that run for a while. I'm going to turn the heat down a small bit. We don't need as much heat, and eventually hopefully the gases should start to build up in there, and we should see some gases building up from it. And again, I might add another 2 milliliters of nitric acid at another stage. So we'll come back in a while. I'll let that run for a while, and we'll see how we're getting on, and I'll let you know if I've added more or what's the story. But essentially what I've created there now is Aqua Regia, because I've added the nitric acid to the hydrochloric, and it should just work away. And I don't think we can see much of a reaction in there. Let me see if we can zoom in. I don't think you can see much of a reaction. The lighting isn't great for that to be able to see any reaction in there, but hopefully we'll get a reaction in a while. Let me zoom back out. Oh, wrong way. Zoom back out. So we'll let that work away by there, and we'll come back in a while and see how we got on. Okay, so I've had that working away in the shed there for a while now, over an hour, maybe 2 hours. I've added about, in total of nitric acid, I have added about 7 milliliters of nitric acid at the moment, and to the solution. And my plan now is to, I've also got these little cotton buds or balls that are left over as well from when I filtered out, and you can see there they contain gold as well. So again, every last bit of gold counts, as you all know. So that's what I'm going to add into the solution now. If it stopped raining, I'll bring the solution outside, because that way then there'll be better ventilation and stuff like that. So it'll give you a better idea of what's happening. So I'm going to add them to it. And I also, because I know this video is about just Aqua Regia and how to make it and stuff like that, but I've also decided this is the dust from, or the powder with the gold flakes in it from when I done the getting the gold off the back here through the copper chloride. So removing this gold from here, from the time I done that from the e-waste I bought off eBay. So I'm going to add that at some stage as well. So what I might do first, my plan is maybe just do these cotton balls, put them in first, and then maybe filter solution once I see that all the stuff has been diluted off that. Add this and see, well, is there enough nitric to still dissolve whatever gold is in here in this stuff. So you can see there's some gold flakes in there. So hopefully there'll be enough nitric to do that. And so as I was saying, sorry, I just had to go because someone came to the door. But yeah, so the plan there is to put them now into the liquid. So I'll get this set up outside now again, because it stopped raining and I'll be able to do it outside. I don't need the heat at the moment. It's warm enough, the liquids, and I'll just add the cotton balls to it, and you'll be able to get a better look as well, because would have been in the shed, I usually have to stand well away and stuff like that. So now that I can get it outside again for a while, we'll do that. Okay guys, so here I am outside, and even though it's outside, I'm still wearing the mask because the fumes from this are still going to be very strong. Plus, no mask will fully protect you against the fumes from this, so that's why I have it outside and I still have the mask on. So all I'm going to do is, well, I'll just show you first before I do this, is when it was on heat, it has more or less dissolved all the filter. So the filter is kind of being dissolved completely, so which is good, because when it comes to filtering again, it means there's going to be less to deal with. So all I'm going to do is pull off the ends here. So again, this is from the e-waste that I bought on eBay, and that's all I'm doing. So any of them that I see that has gold on it, so this one hasn't, so there's no point throwing that in. So again, you can see here we've got a little bit of gold. You can't really see it because but there's little bits of gold here and bits here. So again, I just shake them off and I throw them in so that it gets dissolved. So again, little bits of gold in there. Now I have a few more bits elsewhere that I'll throw in, but you get the idea of what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this back on heat, just again put them down in underneath so that hopefully the Aqua Regia will dissolve any gold that is inside of that material. And then once I have, I'm happy enough that that that's been dissolved, I'll filter it, and we'll add that other material to the filter. Once it's filtered out, we'll add that other gold bearing material. So at the moment it may need another drop of nitric to maybe dissolve the rest of the gold that's gone in there into the solution, but we'll do that as we go on. So for the moment I will look and see if I have any more of these anywhere from where I've done it, and if I have, they'll be added in there. And I think there's one more filter from the last video, well, not this video, where I would have done the ram sticks to get the gold. I think there's a filter there that needs to be thrown in, and we'll go from there. Right guys, so I left that overnight, and it's a nice sunny afternoon, and I'm on my lunch break from work, and I decided we'll filter it. Next, I was going to add more of the stuff that I talked about, but I'm not going to. This was really, I'm going to leave this video as it was, just to show you Aqua Regia. And so I have my filters set up, and you can see here it's fairly cloudy from the and bits and pieces from the dirty material that was used in the beginning. So I'm just going to filter this out. So we should soon start to get it filtering. It's a nice goldy colour, which is nice. So hopefully when we do our Stannous test, we'll get a positive for gold. We should do anyhow. And any gold flakes that haven't been dissolved should just be left in the container. And we can redissolve them again. So I'm going to let that drain away, and we'll come back once that's completed. Okay guys, so the filtering is working away nicely there, and as you can see we have a nice goldy colour there. So I just wanted to mention this before I do any further, is afterwards we'll have some of this stuff in here, so we want to wash out that because there will be some gold content. I only use distilled water. Oh, hold on, let me get a bit of better spray. There we go. So I only use distilled water to do this. No other water, because you want to make sure you don't get any reactions in your liquid. So again, I've only distilled water in there. I'll wash that around, and that'll be filtered through as well. So it's just a matter of making sure, and again, once that's fully filtered through, I'll wash the filter to make sure that we don't have any gold left in there, because again there will be residue of gold left in the filter, and any of the bits that are left in the filter, I'll make sure there's no actual physical gold flakes left in there. So when you come back, we'll have it all filtered through, and we'll be going to do a Stannous test. And if the Stannous test comes back positive for gold or for precious metal, then our job is complete on this video. We'll have got our now I know for a fact there is gold in there, but it's just a matter of proving it with the Stannous test. And you would have seen previous video how I made the Stannous, so somewhere up there will be the link to that video on how to make the Stannous chloride for testing for gold inside the liquid. So I'll wash through the filter. As you can see, it's still a nice bit there to go through yet, and again, just distilled water guys, no other water, just distilled water, because you don't want to be using tap water or any other type of bottled water or anything like that, because you don't know what chemicals are already in there and how it will react and make it difficult for maybe dropping your gold at a later stage. But for this video, all I'm going to be doing is testing it next, make sure it comes back positive, and in future videos I will add the rest of the gold that I got from that, buying that eBay. I'll show you that in a minute afterwards as well, which will be added in a future video, because no point dropping whatever's in here, a couple of, maybe half a gram at the most of gold if I'm lucky, and then having to drop more again. So to save me hassle and to make sure I use up all the nitric that I've in there, I will do more. I'll add the rest of the gold flakes that I have from previous batches of the buying it from eBay, so we get a more accurate amount on it. So let's see how we got on with the Stannous test. Okay guys, so now I have filtered the solution, and that's the filter over here from the, just letting it run through normally, and then after I washed out the filter, I've been left with all that from the other filters that from previously, and we've got a very dark solution, which I find weird afterwards. But anyhow, maybe there was, I don't know, maybe, I don't know why I'm getting that dark solution. The only thing I can think of was that I didn't wash that jar out properly after I made my Stannous there in a previous video. I thought I had it washed out properly, but I mustn't have, and that's giving me the colour for the Stannous colour that you'd usually get. So that's what I'm thinking of is caused that colour. Is the only thing I can think of that has caused it to go black. So again, make sure you wash out your glassware properly, because now that bit, good job that I didn't pour it all into that, that I used a different glass, a fresh one, for doing the main filter, or I could have ended up with that fluid. So anyhow, that's from the washing of the filters. So again, there's no point testing it with Stannous, because as we can see, I may have had a little bit left, and I didn't think, I thought I'd washed it out with distilled water, but I mustn't have. So there's note to self: clean glassware properly afterwards. So anyhow, here's the main thing. So we're going to test it with Stannous. Not much point really testing with Stannous at this moment, because if the washed liquid came out from it with a positive test from the Stannous, then I'm expecting this to come out with a very positive test. So first off, we'll get a little bit of the liquid. So we have a little dropper here, and we have a little bit of the liquid. We'll just drop it on the spoon. Okay, don't want to waste any of this good material. Now we'll get our Stannous chloride. So again, you will have seen how I made that in a previous video, and we'll get a little bit of this liquid in here as well. So we don't need a ton of it, but we have a little bit of it here, and we'll just put a little drop there, and we should hopefully get a positive test for it. I'll just put this back. You can already see it changing from the golden colour. Let me, oh, wrong way, push this down so you can see it better. So you can see that we have the black in there from the positive test from for precious metals in our liquid. So there we go, guys. We have some gold. I wasn't expecting a huge amount, maybe half a gram maybe in there or something. Maybe a bit more, I don't know. We won't know until we drop it, but I am not going to drop that yet, because I have the rest of the gold from the e-waste buy-in from the ramstick fingers, that are the trimmed ramstick fingers, that I need to dissolve. So I'm going to use that to make sure I use up all the nitric that's in there. You can see here now it's gone very black. So we have a good positive test for precious metals from our Stannous. So that's why, again, as I said in the previous video, why it's very important to have Stannous, because you won't get another way of knowing if there's anything precious in there or not. So just to prove that it does work, we have a little bit of nothing in that, so I'm going to just put a little bit of water in it, and we'll drop in a bit more of our Stannous just to prove. So let me get a drop of water over here from the tap. So again, tap water, we know there's no gold in there, no precious metals in there, and we'll just drop in our few drops of Stannous just to see, and again, no change of colour in the water from that. So that just proves there's no precious metals in water for a start. If that went black, I'd have some questions to ask. But it also proves that the Stannous is only reacting with the precious metals in the liquid. So anyhow, I got carried off again as I normally do. But anyhow, so that we know now has precious metals in there. So I'm going to, in a future video, which won't be in this one, this is kind of the end of this video. So in a future video, you'll see me using that in with more to dissolve more gold from them ram sticks that I got. So thanks for watching as always, guys. So that hopefully shows you how to make Aqua Regia, and you also got to see, as I promised you, the Stannous, how Stannous works on a future video. So again, the link will be there at the end for showing how I made this Stannous for testing my precious metals, and hopefully it will help any guy out there or girl who is in this gold recovery. Very important, Stannous, for doing our tests, and we'll get to drop that gold hopefully at some stage, and we'll see what we ended up with from the buy-in from eBay. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.